Hi, how we doing? Paul Begley here. What's going on now in Australia? Floods? To the point of biblical proportions. I'm Paul Begley. And again, Happy New Year, but we're off to a strange start with these blackbirds falling out of the sky in Arkansas. 2,000 blackbirds falling dead out of the sky on New Year's Eve in Begley, Arkansas, and then record biblical proportion floods there in Australia. Let's quickly get to it. I want to read to you this is from the Associated Press. From under. We love that country. It's a great country. From Australia, military aircrafts
started dropping supplies to towns that were cut off by floods in northeastern Australia as the Prime Minister promised new assistance Friday to the 200,000 people that have been cut off, affected by the waters that are covered in an area larger than Texas. Residents were shocked, and they were stocking up food or evacuating their homes as rising rivers began to just overflow and isolate 22 different towns in the state of Queensland. Prime Minister Julia Gillard toured an evacuation center in the flood-stricken town of Bundaberg on Friday and announced that the families whose homes had been flooded or damaged would be eligible for disaster payments of at least $1,000 per adult and $400 per child. My concern is that for the people of these very difficult times, she said. A day earlier, she pledged 1 million Australian dollars in federal aid to match a relief fund already set up by the state government. Now, Bundaberg resident Sandy Kittle told Mayor Gillard that she lost cherished items after the floodwaters surged through her house. She said she may not be able to return home for a week. It was just a sea of water, and I thought the beach would never come to our house, she told her. The mayor gave her a hug. Officials say that half of Queensland's 715,000 square miles is affected by the relentless flooding, which began last week after days of pounding rain caused swollen rivers to overflow. The flood zone covers an area larger than the state of Texas. While the rain has stopped and the rivers are still surging to new heights and overflowing into low-lying towns as the water makes its way toward the sea. The muddy water is inundating thousands of homes and businesses and has led to the shortages of drinking water and has raised fears of mosquito-borne diseases. And you know, they already have a problem with mosquitoes, but if you have this, as this water subsides and all these little ponds and all these little swamps, this could get really bad. This is without a doubt a tragedy of unprecedented scale. Without question, folks, this was a flood of biblical proportions there in Australia. Well, that's the beginning of a new year. You have unbelievable flooding going on in Australia, unexpected, from torrential rains. Now remember, just last week, 24 inches of rain fell in California. 6 months worth of rain, some crazy number, with flooding, just destroying, wiping out homes. We have 2,000 blackbirds falling out of the sky in Begley, Arkansas. What? 2,000 blackbirds? And they just fall out of the sky? What's the deal? And they weren't poisoned, according to the Wildlife and Game Preserve. It could have been bottle rockets. People on New Year's Eve happy, causing 2,000 blackbirds to die. Folks, I think we need to stop and ask ourselves some questions. Are we coming closer to the end? I mean, are these signs and wonders, are these part of the biblical proportions? Are these part of the prophetic word that the Bible told us would happen? They said there'd be wars, there'd be rumors of wars. We got that going on every day with North Korea and South Korea, and the war right now in Afghanistan and in Iraq, and then the uprisings in countries like the Ivory Coast, the protesting that goes on in Greece and in England and in Ireland and in different parts of the world. We have the currency crisis that's affecting the financial markets around the world. We have the rising debt of several European nations and America. And now we have this biblical flooding going on in Australia. And last year we had it happen in China and in Pakistan and in different parts of the world. We had strange floods, like in Iowa, a dam broke in America. And in Nashville, Tennessee, floodwaters swept through the Grand Ole Opry. Strange stuff. But now you got 2,000 blackbirds falling out of the sky in Australia with record flooding going on down under in Australia. I just ask you to consider these things and find out where we stand. If that's not enough, last year the United Nations decided we needed an ambassador to the aliens. I'm trying to get a grasp on, have we lost our sanity? I'm Paul Begley. I want you to study these things. I want you to ask yourself just exactly what is going on. Oh, and the reason I'm wearing this shirt, the Colts, it might be the only good news I got. The Colts kicked the last second field goal, and the Indianapolis Colts are in the playoffs again.